Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League, showcasing another very powerful team featuring Gligar. Oh my goodness, Gligar. Massive benefactor of the new updates. It is now top tier meta, and it will be serving as the lead on this team, along with Dewgong on the safe swap. Dewgong is on this team to draw out any potential fighters or steel types, and Dewgong, one of the best safe swaps in the entire Great League. And rounding out the team, we've got Alolan Sandslash in the back. Dewgong draws out that hard counter. Gligar cleans it up, freeing up Alolan Sandslash to close the game strong. Gligar, amazing with these updates, and the Shadow is slightly preferred, but the non-Shadow certainly worth pursuing as well. Here we go. Nightmare lead. We had an Obama Snow gonna safe swap into Dewgong here. They're staying in a little bit. Perhaps to chip and dip or pressure a shield. We're not going to shield this. We do survive a grass energy ball quite well, but they bait, and that was brilliant. A brilliant no shield by us as they make a play into a Sableye. So now we're going to rip off this Icy Wind and slowly but surely whittle away at that very high attack stat on this Sableye. Gonna let this go. Dewgong about as tanky as it gets, and that of course does not do as much damage as it would have before the debuff. Gonna rip off yet another Icy Wind with Stab. That's the way to go on Sableye. Straight Icy Wind, and it's looking like we will get this farm down and flip switch with our Dewgong. Oh, you'd love to see it. Now gonna go for obviously the Icy Wind that hits for neutral, as it is part grass, and they do let that go as they do survive. They cannot farm down, and a Weather Ball will not do the trick. They're gonna have to throw that big energy ball to get the clean KO here, and that is exactly what they do. So now what we're gonna do, come in, farm down with our A-Slash, and oh, they've got a Gligar of their own in the back. Not looking good for them. Oh my goodness, and a very quick top left. They saw what was coming their way, wasn't trending in the right direction. Good game, well played to them. Gligar always had the bulk to be good. It was just a meaningful update away from being meta, and that is exactly what we got. But here we go. Bad lead. This is not a good lead. Azumarill is not good for Gligar. Does not win on even energy and even shields here. So what we're going to do is look to chip this thing, throw one wing attack, and try and catch a potential Ice Beam, but we were not successful in doing so. It looks like the Azumarill was going to go 3 and then throw, so that is something to remember depending on your elo. But they do chip us and dip into a Venusaur. Venusaur is going to see some increased play this season. So our health is compromised. Going to rip off this Icy Wind, take a little bit of the sting off of this super effective fast move pressure, and they are overloading, allowing us to get to another Icy Wind. Oh man, and they have to give up both shields in the process. That trade-off, I'm not sure is the way to go, but they are going to throw here as they do have to throw now at this point. Going to come in with our A-Slash. We hardwall Venusaur at every turn here. And this thing has been double debuffed, so Frenzy Plants without debuffs can actually add up, although resisted, so Dewgong coming in clutch yet again on the safe swap. They've got a Shadow Nidoqueen in the back, and you should be going Drill Run, but there's a method behind the madness. Gonna just chip, knowing that it won't KO. We want to load up on energy. That is how you overcome a Pokemon as bulky as Azumarill, with energy management. So we're going to tank this double resisted Poison Fang, swap out to clear that debuff, get even more energy on our Gligar. And now we should be good to go with 2 shield advantage. This Venusaur is going to pressure one of our shields here. We will shield this, and we did get another wing attack off of that Venusaur. And now it is smooth sailing from here. Gligar can flip the Azumarill matchup with 3.5 wing attacks, 7 turns, energy lead, can flip that matchup sometimes. And again, that comes down to IVs, so it's not a good matchup, but with enough of an energy lead, we can overcome Azumarill no problem. It just takes a team effort, and it was not trending in the right direction for that Azur. We had energy on the A-Slash as well. Good game, well played to them. I've got to say, I was thoroughly impressed with how Gligar performed. This thing is here to stay. And here we go. Lanturn, not a positive lead for Gligar. Much like Azumarill, we do not win even shields and even energy here. But we are, like I said, the bulk is there on this thing. So we will tank a Surf. We tank that comfortably, and we are resisting this fast move pressure. We're going to go for a Dig here. And we're going to sort of lull them into a false sense of security. We're going to try and set up a potential surf catch on our Dewgong, and we do, reading that they are throwing just as they get to the move. Lanturn does slightly outpace our Gligar, so we had to make that catch. And they make a play into a Steelix. So, this is okay. Steelix is part ground, so it is taking neutral damage from our ice-type attacks. And they're going to debuff us with a Psychic Fangs. That's okay. So in this mid-game matchup, we're not overly concerned with flipping this here. All we really want to do is get this Steelix within a manageable health range and perhaps grab a shield. That is our goal here, because if we can get an advantage for either our Gligar or especially our Sandslash, I have a feeling we will be in a good spot. So they go Breaking Swipe there to lower our attack. So we are now debuffed on defense and attack, and we got the shield. We got the Steelix low. Not much more we can ask for. So now we're going to bring in A-Slash. Knowing the moveset, we absolutely hardwall this Steelix here. They're going to debuff us with a resisted Breaking Swipe, and we cannot farm down with that debuff. So going to go for the neutral Ice Punch and look to get rid of this Steelix here on proper timing, and we do take it out. And they've got an Altaria in the bag. Altaria now less effective with the Sky Attack nerf this season, so it is still interesting to see people using it. But that's okay. They were tremendously weak to an A-Slash in the back, which is why A-Slash is not going anywhere this season. Gonna go for the Ice Punch. They let that go, knowing that we had been debuffed. That would have one-shot if we were not debuffed by a Breaking Swipe. Waiting for them to throw. They are not. They are very patient with their energy. So now we're going to look to combo play and look to get rid of the Altaria, or we would have taken a shield as well. And right about here, we make a slight misplay. We would have made it to a dig, but I was trying to grab that final shield, knowing that we are absolutely loaded on our A-Slash, but they did not take the bait, but that is okay. We are still good here. Double back-to-back resisted Ice Punch will be more than enough to get this job done. They just don't have enough shields to take the win here. We get to another Ice Punch, and we are saying bye-bye to the Lanturn, courtesy of our closer, Alolan Sandslash. The team was putting in the work. Good game, well played. All of the moving parts to this classic ABB line complement each other beautifully. Not perfect, but still very good. And here we go, a Galvantula lead. This is solid for Gligar here. We hardwall the conventional moveset on Galvantula here, and we're just going to go for the neutral Aerial Aces, as Galvantula, quite squishy, often has to give up shields to be at its most effective in the Great League. Ultra League as well, just all leagues, this thing's quite squishy. And gonna go for another neutral Aerial Ace. Both of our charge moves as well as our fast move pressure is applying neutral damage, which is why this matchup is pretty good for Gligar. And we did grab the second shield, so that kind of clues me in that they are perhaps weak to a Gligar in the back, which instinctually you would want to swap out when you see that. But I know both of our Pokemon remaining here, up shields do quite well up against the Great League meta. So we're actually just going to soft lose lead. We got a 2-shield advantage. We're going to do just fine. We're going to come in with Dewgong, get a slight energy lead, and that's what didn't want to see our Gligar. They gave up both of those shields to protect the Medi lurking in the back, and Dewgong up shields does quite well up against Metachamp despite the type disadvantage. Going to apply and debuff with an Icy Wind, and we will now start to throw up these shields. So our strategy working to perfection, and they're running Dynamic Punch. Holy smokes. That's a really good shield if I've ever seen one. And now we're just going to go Drill Run, knowing that they have no shields remaining. That's going to do more raw damage, although it does not have stab. And this is just a Ice Punch. Could be a power punch, but they built up the Ice Punch. That's not going to cut it, and they've got a Licky lurking in the back, so now we're going to apply a debuff with Icy Wind, and now get out of here, not give them any more farm than necessary. Sandslash does not generally do well up against Licky, but with a shield and a debuff, it was going to put in the work, and they realize that as they do promptly top left. That's going to be yet another good game. Well played. Oh, I was loving Gligar again. The shadow is slightly preferred, but again, the non-shadow definitely worth pursuing. This thing is amazing. And here we go. Nightmare lead, A-Slash. This is the core breaker. This was the Pokemon I was dreading when I was drafting this team here, but we're going to try our best. Going to shield up the first Ice Punch and preserve some health, as A-Slash on the lead can often have a Medi in the back, and we are going to actually bait with an Aerial Ace, grabbing the shield and catching a double resisted Ice Punch onto our Dewgong. We're trying to make something happen here. Fully expecting a Medi counter swap here, but it looks like they are staying in to load up on energy and perhaps set up a catch. Not falling for that. We're going to hold on to this energy. And there is the Medi as predicted. Going to go for the Icy Wind. You want to take a little bit of the sting off of that super effective fast move pressure, as you're going to need more than multiple moves to take out Medicham anyways. We're going for another Icy Wind to further debuff this Medicham here, and they're going to have to throw Psychic at this point on this low health Dewgong to get this one done. They have loads of energy here. They do go for the Psychic. That is the play, and now we're going to come back in with our Gligar, and because we have severely compromised this Medicham's attack stat, we are comfortable tanking an Ice Punch here. And now we're just going to overload a little more. We've got tons of energy here. Going to look to get rid of the Medicham. We do want to preserve a little bit of health. We're getting quite low here. And they bring in an Altaria. Oh my goodness. So we're going to bring in our A-Slash here. Again, Altaria slightly less effective than it once was due to the unnecessary Sky Attack nerf. So we're going to tank that. We do survive that, but what they're doing here is they're just looking to chip the health, and they return the favor with the Ice Punch catch back onto their A-Slash. Good on them for that. That's a brilliant catch by them. And now we're going to bait that final shield. It's not looking good for us, and we make them shield a double resisted Ice Punch. You'll love to see it. Yeah, it's not doing too well for us. Hard countered on the lead, and then very much hard countered on the safe swap. That's just a little bit of RPS playing out here, unfortunately. So we're just really going through the motions here, and we're just going to let this go as we no longer have a win con in this matchup. So, yeah, that's a very rough team for us. Good game, well played to them. Yeah, A-Slash lead, Medi in the back. That's going to be very rough for this team to overcome. But here we go. We've got a Dunsparce here on the lead. I'm thinking we can do okay. I did not check this matchup, but I do know that we can apply neutral damage, and they can only apply resisted. So that's generally a good start in evaluating how you will do in a match. They do tank our first Dig. Newly buffed Dig, by the way. Now a Sludge Bomb clone, making it much improved than it once was. And we're just going to let these Rock Slides go. Dunsparce doesn't hit particularly hard, and they do hit us for neutral. And we are going to go for a Aerial Ace here at this point. Apply a bait. They're staying in, so they're likely weak in the back. And now we will shield, as this thing is a nightmare for our two remaining Pokemon here. We gotta have to get rid of this thing. It's bad news for our backline. And now we will look to go for another Aerial Ace. I think that's all we need at this point. So it looks like Dig plus Aerial Ace plus the fast move pressure gets the job done on a Dunsparce. And they've got a Venusaur in the back. We're not sticking around to get farmed down. We're just going to look to either grab that final shield or do some super effective damage. But it was a shadow. I didn't see that, so we have no choice. Oh, that Vine Whip took us out just as fast as you can blink there. And they are going to go for a Frenzy Plant. That's okay. We tank one. And they've got a Beedrill in the back. So A-Slash is our best answer up against what they have remaining. So we're going to preserve that. And just throw Dewgong in here as a damage sponge and to maybe apply some debuffs for sure. Gonna throw here. So just in case you guys are unaware, if you're running a 3-turn fast move and you're up against a 2-turn, you want to be throwing on odd numbers. So you want to be throwing after 1, 3, or 5, and so on. That is proper timing if you run a 3-turn up against a 2. Gonna let this go, play out the zeros, and now we are primed. Gonna get ahead on energy, and that Venusaur had no shields. They saw what was coming their way. It was not trending in the right direction. Good game, well played. Dewgong and Gligar make for a very powerful core this season. You can basically throw anything in there as a third. But here we go, the Dream Lead coming in the form of Registeel. This is why the non-shadow, again, although slightly less preferred, is still worth pursuing because you can still KO a Reggie with 2 newly buffed digs. That is the beauty of this matchup. And everything is resisted, provided they are running the conventional moveset on Reggie. And they pivot into a Mandibuzz, so we had just the answer to this Mandy in the back, coming in the form of Dewgong. Dewgong can fight back against Reggie, but still not the best matchup. So this is the alignment here, especially considering that Mandibuzz is resisting our fast move pressure on our A-Slash. So going to go for the Icy Wind. Of course, it hits for super effective, but Mandibuzz about as tanky as it gets. Tanks it quite comfortably, but we have applied a debuff in this matchup here, and this is quite comfortable for Dewgong. We win this in the zeros, no problem. So we want to keep shields up, especially knowing that Reggie's still relatively healthy and has energy. I'm not sure what else they could have in the back. They're leading Reggie, so that's perhaps their charm answer. So there could be a Medi in the back. Medi... especially with Trev out of the meta, Medi and Reggie are a very strong core as well. And there it is. Speaking of the team read, spot on. They had a Medi lurking. And our Gligar is slightly below 50% health, but that should still be enough with an energy lead on this Medi here. They are now shielding, as they do have to because their remaining Pokemon don't do well up against Gligar, which is why the buff was quite clutch. It breaks up the Medi-Reggie core and the Medi-Steel core in general quite effectively, let me just say. And you do need 2 aerial aces plus the fast move pressure to get rid of a Medicham with Gligar. At least for the non-shadow, I believe for the shadow as well. And they gave up that final shield. We take out the Medi, and I don't think we will even need our A-Slash. Holy smokes, Gligar and Dewgong. Gonna go 2v3 here, as we will not reveal the third here. And we've got the dig locked and loaded. They don't get an attack drop, and it would not have mattered either way. We are saying bye-bye to the Registeel, courtesy of our newly buffed Gligar. Oh my goodness, I love this thing. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Yeah, I've had this Gligar for a very long time. I decided to check it on PvPoke, and it just so happens to match the default Gligar at PvPoke. I said, all right. It's good enough for PvPoke. It's good enough for me, so I built it. And we had, I don't think that was a good lead. I didn't check that Golbat matchup, but Gligar generally doesn't perform well up against opposing flyers, so we play it safe and safe swap into Dewgong, knowing that we have 2 solid answers to a flyer such as Golbat. They meet us with a Lanturn, and we decided to take a chance after landing our drill run on perhaps making a play for switch here. Going for another drill run, and they let it go, likely expecting an Icy Wind bait. Nope, we were trying to take out that Lanturn, and they've got a Charm A9 in the back, so perhaps employing a 2-shield Charmer strat here, and we're not baiting again. Oh my goodness, so many Dewgong trainers love to bait that Icy Wind, and this trader was likely reading that we were going to bait at some point, but no, we were not intending to bait whatsoever. And seeing their remaining line, they've got a Charmer and a Flying Poison type. We're just going to throw Gligar in here to absorb damage, and A-Slash, even down a shield, should do just fine here, especially seeing that they are not giving up the shields whatsoever. They should probably start shielding at some point. Holy smokes. I don't know what they are saving those shields for. But we're going to look to chip this thing with a slightly buffed aerial ace, and they let it go. So yeah, they just decided to not shield anything. That one there, they likely saw that it was not turning in the right direction. They just didn't shield when they should have throughout. So yeah, good game, well played to them. So if for some reason you were unsure about Gligar, I am here to tell you, it gets my seal of approval 100%. Here we go, Shadow Steelix. Shadow Steelix wins the 2s and 1s. We do, of course, win the 0s, so we're going to stick it out here a little bit. They're going to go for a Breaking Swipe on alignment, giving us a free wing attack, and we will go for a dig. Now, If they shield this, we are going to pivot into our Dewgong. They do shield, so now we're going to pivot to check for a potential fighter in the back. And we draw it out. Dewgong doing its job to perfection on this ABB line. We draw out a Medicham. Going to go for the Icy Winds, of course, in this matchup. Generally, when shields are up, I do like to go straight Icy Wind, although you can go for a drill run as well. You will need multiple moves to take out a Medicham, and especially seeing that they are running Pup here, we are still fine just to go for these Icy Winds to sort of mitigate this this power punch effect here. We are only going to make it to one more move, so there is a strong argument that you should go drill run, but I do want to knock them down a peg because I don't know what that second move is. I'm going to bring our Gligar back in. And this is an Ice Punch, so this is an Ice Punch Pup Medi. We will shield that. They are still boosted if I'm keeping track. So many moves were thrown, I'm not sure. We're shielding it either way. They come back in with the Steelix. Gonna go for the dig here and see if we can either grab that final shield or do some big damage. We do the big damage. We're out of there into our A-Slash. We do resist Steelix's moveset here and gonna... what did they bring in? I did not see. Trevenant! Holy smokes, they brought in a Trev. Good on them. Trevenant, a sleeper pick, and they do top left as their remaining Pokemon could do nothing up against A-Slash. That was a trend I was seeing. A lot of top lefts upon seeing A-Slash, and that is the team, my friends. Good game, well played to the opponent. So, yeah, this team, quite strong. Dewgong and Gligar make for an amazing pairing. They complement each other's weaknesses quite well. There is a glaring core breaker coming in the form of Alolan Sandslash. That is perhaps the biggest core breaker to this team. Doable. We didn't do well up against our A-Slash lead, but I was able to overcome one, so I'm 50-50 on those myself. And Azumarill, to a much lesser extent, also a bit of a core breaker, as we saw in this video. You can overcome Azumarill much easier than an A-Slash lead, especially if the A-Slash has a Medi in the back. That's generally bad news. That's some RPS action there, but otherwise, this core, amazing. Very strong core to rack up some wins. As for a third, I chose Alolan Sandslash in its shadow form. I just wanted to run an ABB line, and as we saw, the immediate top lefts upon seeing it, it did very well with this very strong core in the Great League. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching, and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.